My favourite source for royal news, and quite right, not that we're biased. Harry said in his BBC interview that he was forced to step away from royal duty due to security concerns. I thought Harry and Meghan had decided to leave.
Prince Harry, just off a British Airways flight, eyes heavy with jet lag, steps into London's cold steel grey light. No photographers, no red carpet. It's just one man, a duffel bag, and a political crisis ready to blow. He felt it. He could see it in his shoulders, stiff, uneasy, like someone walking into a courtroom where he's both witness and defendant. As he clutched his overpriced soy latte at Heathrow, something far more bitter was brewing. Just miles away, Parliament was filling up. MPs from every side were settling in for what some were calling the showdown of the decade. A formal motion to review whether Prince Harry deserved to keep the Duke of Sussex title, citing his long list of actions seen as defiance against the Crown. Translation: the game was over, now it was war. And no, this wasn't the usual anti-monarchy noise. This motion had momentum, backed by Conservative MP Bob Seeley, the same man who once called Harry a celebrity activist with a grudge. And this time, even Labour didn't block it. Even moderates said it was worth debating. In other words, Harry's name had become political ammunition. Over in Kensington, aides were scrambling, royal phones ringing non-stop. William's camp, radio silent. No comments. No denials. Just that classic palace line, "We do not comment on parliamentary matters." Translation: you're on your own. And Meghan, still in California, reportedly in meetings with Netflix execs, plotting her next move. But when the motion broke across headlines, insiders say she was furious. Not just about the title, but the timing. This wasn't just a blow to Harry, it was a direct hit to the Sussex brand. And Meghan Markle doesn't play when it comes to brand warfare. By 6 p.m., the press exploded. British tabloids lit up Harry's title in peril. Royal turmoil, Sussexes in crisis. Even CNN joined the frenzy. Royal split go nuclear. And that's when Harry snapped.
Catherine, who it sort of embodied that sort of the reaction between them, you know, that a mother's great at getting that really natural, relaxed response from her daughter.
According to Multiply Witness, yes. More than one, Harry was seen leaving a private meeting near Clarence's house, absolutely furious. He stormed out, phone clutched in his hand, visibly shouting into the receiver. And here's the quote that's been bouncing through headlines like wildfire. "They wouldn't dare. Not after everything I've done for them." Let that sink in. That line hits hard. It reveals everything. Harry still sees that title as earned, like a badge of sacrifice. He left the firm, yes, but in his mind, it was principled. He spilled family secrets on Oprah, painted Camilla as the villain in His More, and aired royal dysfunction across a global Netflix stage, and to him, that wasn't betrayal. That was truth-telling. But now Parliament is basically saying, "Coal narrative. But we're scraping your name off the office door and the internet." Oh, I'd erupted. Twitter, or X, turned into an all-out war zone. Some were cheering. Good. He turned his back on the crown. Let him lose the title. Others were outraged. So now we punish people for being honest. But you know who said absolutely thing? Thoughtfulness, not a tweet, not AWH per dot, just classic royalzalins, louder than any statement could ever be.
Is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne.
In royal language, silence can scream louder than a press conference. Because if the palace truly wanted to shield Harry's title, this was the moment. One soft comment from King Charles, even a vague nod from Kensington, could have shut down the entire firestorm. Buttons did nothing. Silence. And that silence, it was thunderous. Now, let's talk legal. If Parliament actually moved forward with this motion, they'd be breaking ground. No modern royal has ever had a peerage revoked by a vote not. Even Prince Andrew. Scandals make Harry's drama look like a student essay. That's what makes this different. This isn't just the store, it's volatile. Harry's title can be stripped, none are safe. Royal titles won't be sacred amore. They'll be political chips, flipped at will, and here's the twist: Harry knows it. Sources say he's already brought in a legal dream team spanning the Atlantic. He's not just pushing back with press. He's preparing for full-scale legal combat lawyers, PR experts, Hollywood strategists. The Sussex machine is switching to war mode. Because this isn't just about honor. It's about identity. It's about protecting the final thread that links them to the throne. That Duke title isn't just ceremonial, it's the stamp behind Netflix contracts, speaking tours, and Archewell's entire pitch. And the firm. They're watching like chess players, studying every move. Charles, calm, strategic. William, quietly sharpening the contrast between himself, the loyal Herond, the rebellious brother. Kate, publicly distant. But don't be fooled every whisper. From Camp Middleton is shaping the optics. The Sussexes, alone, on their own battlefield, and the front line. Parliament, what comes next? Will Harry speak out? Will Meghan issue a public blast? Will the palace finally break the silence to control? Theta Mojer, let the storm rage on. Because if Parliament votes to strip that title, Harry becomes something new, a private. Brad is citizen and a former prince in name only. And one thing's clear, the niceties are over. This isn't palace. Intrigue went more ides, a full-on constitutional brawl. Back in Montecito, Meghan Markle was pacing like a general prepping for combat. Harry was unraveling in London. But Meghan was already mobilizing, locked in a Zoom war room with PR fixers, Archewell's core execs, and two furious lawyers from her powerhouse agency, WME. And according to insiders, her first words were cold, sharp, and clear. This is a coordinated takedown. Someone in that palace wants us erased. To some, that might sound dramatic. But for Meghan, it was calculated. She knows how these things work. Parliament doesn't just wake up one morning and target your royal title. Not without a few quiet nods from the very top, and this is where it spirals. Because Meghan had been planning her Kambaka cooking and lifestyle show with Netflix. A new memoir, and even quiet chatter about a wellness brand. The Markle Sparkle 2.0 was under construction, but now everything is on shaky ground. How do you launch a media empire when your royal legitimacy is being scrubbed in real time? Netflix is tweeting, behind the scenes, execs are asking, do we still have a duchess? Or just another influencer with a story to sell? Millions have been sunk into the Sussex brand. But that brand was built on a title. And if Parliament takes it, the foundation crumbles. And here's the crueleroni Meghan had just signed off. On her show's new slogan, from palace to pantry, a duchess reimagined. Imagine the rewrite if duchess is off the table. That's why her legal team moved fast. Within hours of the motion going public, they were drafting a contingency statement. Not release it, but reportedly filled with explosive terms. Constitutional, overreach, public harassment. And the dagger, systemic retaliation against whistleblowers. That last phrase, that's no accident. Meghan wants the world to see this not as royal politics, but as a human rights issue. If they strip Harry's title, she wants it framed as punishment for speaking the truth. And meanwhile, across the ocean, Harry, it's not going quietly either.
You said, Jack.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent on each other.
Around 10 a.m. the next morning, royal paparazzi captured Prince Harry leaving a discreet solicitor's office in London's legal district ties red. Jaw set, flanked by 2 aides and an unusually tense security team. Insiders say he'd spent the early hours combing through precedents, weighing countermeasures, and preparing a legal counterstrike. Translation? He's not backing down. He's gearing up for war. And it's not just a PR skirmish. This is a full-scale transatlantic legal blitz to defend the Sussex name. But here's where the battlefield expands. Remember Harry's military credentials? His tours in Afghanistan? His leadership of the Royal Marines? Veterans aren't silent. Now, some rally behind him. One retired Marine told The Telegraph, "You don't strip a man who served a decade." But not all agree. A former Army colonel shot back on Sky News. Loyalty to country starts with loyalty to family. So even the military is split. Like the rest of the nation, Parliament's divided. Public sentiment is fractured. And King Charles. Radio silent. Reportedly, he imposed a no-contact freeze with Harry while the motion was under review. That's not impartiality, it's strategic abandonment. William's camp is reportedly livid not because of sympathy, but optics. This mess threatens to derail the monarchy's post-Catherine recovery narrative. Yet still, no royal has stood up. Not Edward, not even Eugenie. That inner circle shrinking by the minute. And then boom, President Biden enters stage left. Not directly, but via a State Department release. Delicately noting they're monitoring developments that could impact an American citizen, aka Meghan. It was the diplomatic version of side-eye. QUK headlines. Is the White House protecting Markle? The drama hit overdrive. Meanwhile, Parliament postponed the vote, media noise too loud to ignore. Harry bunkered down outside London. Rumors swirled, was he drafting a live statement? Plotting it to lull accusaries. Netflix allegedly loved the idea. Meghan less so. She wants control, strategy, narrative. Because here's the harsh truth for her. The title isn't just heritage. It's leverage. It powers deals, opens boardrooms, and legitimizes the brand. Strip that, and she risks becoming what critics always claim, just another influencer in a tiara. So now we wait. Will Parliament act? Will the palace finally step in? Or will Meghan go nuclear, dropping receipts and royal emails? The press is salivating. Front Paga scream Prince or Pauper, a crisis of the crown, and Harry versus the state. Primetime pundits go feral. Supporters become skeptics. Meghan's projects hit pause. Her crisis team takes the wheel. And her response? Cinematic. She commissions a sleek mini decantable, a love beyond titles, montage, music. Voiceover, we didn't step down, we stepped into ourselves. But while she crafts the narrative, back in London, the headlines scream war. Piers Morgan foams at the mouth. Twitter becomes a war zone. Hashtags collide. Even celebs weigh in, some supportive, others snarky. And just hours before the historic vote, Buckingham Palace slips in a brutal footnote on their site. Titles currently under review. No statement, just shade. Parliament meets, speeches fly. Debate rages. And then vote time. The motion fails by just 14 votes. Harry keeps his title. Legally, barely. But emotionally, he feels it's already gone. That night, he calls Meghan and mutters, "They didn't strip it, but they made it worthless." And he's right. Because the crown didn't need to vote him out. They ghosted him out. Quietly, cruelly, no lifeline. No backing, just protocol and silence. Meghan had warned him. But what she didn't expect was Hollywood fatigue. Her carefully planned doc trailer landed with a thud. Netflix cooled. WME grew cautious. An insider told Deadline, there's sympathy but also exhaustion, and sympathy fatigue. That's death for a personal brand. Back in California, the couple licked their wounds. Harry is reportedly contemplating disappearing from public life altogether. No books, no headlines, just chickens and charity work. Meghan, not so fast. She can't be a duchess, she'll be CEO. Welcome to Markle 3.0 tech investors, media platforms. Advocacy empires. New name, civility. Tagline, where grace meets power. A brand, not a crown. But royal shade followed. Critics mocked the logo. MIPS rolled their eyes. Even peers called it goop with a grudge. But Meghan, unfazed, strategizing, meeting with Oprah, texting with Ellen, positioning herself not as royal, but as inevitable. Meanwhile, Harry faded, quiet, withdrawn, reportedly journaling, surfing, considering Botswana, because the title he wants now. Peace. And here's the twist while the world watches Meghan pivot and Harry disappear. Netflix holds an emergency. Meeting, narrative fatigue, overexposure. The fairy tale's gone flat. If Meghan's next move flops, they might walk. And that's the cliff edge. Without the monarchy or the media, what's left? A prince without a crown. A duchess without a domain. A royal chapter slammed shut, but not the book. Because for all their losses, Harry and Meghan are still the most unpredictable figures in modern royalty. They've become wild cards, untethered, and free. And in the world they're entering, freedom is the only title that still holds power.